If I press this button, yay! Hello everyone! Thank you for having me, and it's just a really honour to open the day. So I am going to keep to time, but if you want to hear me bang on at length about housing, which I can do, find me at a break or connect on Twitter. So, as a housing wonk, I'm always interested in how people in Ambridge get housed, especially the younger generation. I do understand Emma Grundy's frustrations about not being able to afford a house and not being able to provide a stable home for her family. And I know from my day job the challenges of the housing crisis and how rural areas can be especially hard hit. So we Oxford fans often refer to the Ambridge Fairy, so I was really keen to look at the extent to which people in Ambridge depend on external support to get a place to live. But not until I started the research proper did I realise quite how entrenched an issue that it is. So before we focus on the village, a little bit of life beyond Borsetshire. So nationally, our key themes are crisis of affordability, especially in rural areas, lack of affordable housing, and also generational inequalities, which as older generations accumulate housing wealth, this isn't trickling down to younger people equally. And those are themes that we'll see coming through in Ambridge. So, inspired by the work of Rural Recruiter at the University of Cambridge, I tracked the housing pathways of all the Generation X, which is people born from 66 to 1980, and the millennials born from 1980, and I looked at their housing pathways, the tenure pathways, and I mapped all the current living arrangements and the dependencies and relationships involved. There's a lot of dependence, and that creates opportunities for patronage and also family wealth to influence housing options. So you've got on your seats, oh, it's not come out too bad, I wasn't sure how it was going to come out, a complicated diagram. So I want to kind of flag four main findings, but somebody asked me a question at the break about the retreat of the state, because I've got things to say about that. So firstly, the role of family wealth and home ownership. So only 30% of UK first-time buyers rely on family support, but there's not a single household in the Millennial and Generation X cohorts in Ambridge who's done it without family intervention. And they are all children of owner-occupiers. Most recently, Harrison's parents stumped up for help with the deposit for Woodbine Cottage. Secondly, where people are renting privately, that's often been at a discount facilitated through local relationships. So Emma negotiated a discount on the Green from Will, and actually Tom and Johnny did the same when they've moved in. No one knows how much it's costing at Grange Farm, but Oliver's too soft-hearted to charge absolute top whack. Thirdly, sharing is a really significant housing option for many people in Ambridge, and it creates dependent relationships across families and across the village community. So sharing a home as a lodger or an intergenerational household is a really established means by which people in Ambridge house themselves, and this is what Paul is going to pick up in the next presentation, which is going to be great. So, for example, both Kirsty and Jazza, as people without wider family in the village, have been dependent on shared accommodation for a long time. And even where people are renting, in this cohort, you can see that 2 of the 3 renting households are actually sharing households. So only Anita living by herself. So finally, farming arrangements play a really significant specific role in Ambridge. So in the Millennial and the Generation X cohort, Pip, Will and Nick and the Fairbrethren are all living in farm accommodation, and Kate and Alice have got the cottages on the farm at Home Farm, 3 houses, very nice. So, well done, Anisha! She's the only character from the entire Generation X and Millennial cohort to pay for her own independent accommodation at full market price. She's a vet from Glasgow with no dependents, so that shows you that most rural wages are not going to stretch to housing a young family in Ambridge. So, now we know about the dependents. What does it tell us about the Ambridge Fairy? Well, a really important thing to note at this point is that people who have property businesses in Ambridge are not under pressure to step into that role. So Lillian's Amside's business is not usually seen as a route for young people to get a place to live, although some people have now and again. And the Bridge Farm development that Justin's doing is only providing affordable housing to meet planning requirements, and I've got words to say about that as well. But other community-focused solutions would have been available that they didn't take. So sometimes the Ambridge Fairy is a bolt from the blue, like Will's inheritance. But actually, more often, it's like one of those puzzles where you move the squares around in a picture. So, you know, we had Christine moved in with Peggy, that's left Woodbine free for Harrison and Fallon. And the dynamic that's special to Ambridge, or perhaps to rural communities altogether, but it's not been well researched, is the role for farm accommodation. So whether it's tied accommodation like Will's, Woodbine, Rickyard Cottage, which are available generally, or the houses passed down from Hope Farm to Alice and Kate. So some people have to work harder than others to have that kind of opportunity land in their lap. So just within the intergenerational tenure pathways, it certainly helps to have a big farm and especially a rich relative in order to generate the Ambridge Fairy. Thank you very much.